My 16-year-old son was left off my brother's wedding invite for being too young. I didn't argue. I just said we won't be going. But when Christmas came, I made one small gift for my brother, and his wife's entire family lost their minds. The moment I saw the wedding invite, something felt off. It had my name on the envelope. Just mine, no, and guest. No mention of Jake. I flipped it over, thinking maybe something was missing, like an RSVP card or an extra slip. Nothing. Just a fancy cream-colored invite with floral lettering and Evan and Lisa's names at the top. My name's Greg, I'm 47, divorced, and I've got a 16-year-old son named Jake. My younger brother Evan just got married last fall. We grew up thick as thieves. I practically raised him while our parents were busting their asses on double shifts. I was changing his diapers, walking him to school, helping with his science projects while other kids my age were riding bikes and sneaking out. So yeah, when his wedding invite came, I was happy for him. Proud even, until I saw Jake wasn't invited. I figured it had to be a mistake. Evan wouldn't do that. Jake wasn't just my kid. He was Evan's shadow growing up. They had their own thing. Comic books, games, barbecue Sundays. No way Evan left him out on purpose. I called him that night. He picked up right away. Hey man, you get the invite? Yeah, I said, but it only had my name. Where's Jake's? There was this pause. Then Evan said, real casual. Oh right. Yeah, the wedding's adults only. No kids under 18. Seriously, I leaned against the counter, already pissed. You know, Jake's practically grown, right? He's taller than me. He's not gonna run around knocking over wine glasses. Evan sighed like I was annoying him. I get it, but Lisa's family, they want a classy upscale. No teenagers. It's her call. I laughed once, bitter. Jake already bought a suit. He was excited, man. He looks up to you. I know, he said. Like that made it better, but this is just how it is. I hope you can respect that. I sat there, stunned, like someone had knocked the wind out of me. Jake wasn't just some random teenager. He was family. Quick note before we keep going. Before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. I kept it together on the phone, but inside, I was seething. Evan didn't even sound sorry, just matter of fact. Like Jake was a checkbox that didn't make the final cut. He hung up after saying, hope you'll still come. Yeah, he hoped, but in that moment, I knew something had shifted. And not in a way I could just shrug off. I didn't sleep that night. Kept staring at the ceiling, running the whole conversation with Evan through my head. It wasn't just about the wedding. It was everything building up to that moment. The slow drift, the cold shoulder, the way Jake started asking less and less about Uncle Evan like he was trying not to care. Growing up in Aurora, I was more like Evan's third parent than a big brother. I was 14 when I had to step in after some punk in the neighborhood started giving him hell for the way he talked. Evan had this stutter that showed up when he got nervous, and this older kid thought it was funny. I didn't think twice. I cornered the kid after school and made sure he understood that if he ever even looked at Evan sideways again, he'd regret it. After that, Evan followed me around like a shadow. I taught him how to throw a spiral, how to fix a leaky faucet, even helped him write out a script so he could give a presentation without freezing up in class. He clung to every little bit of advice I gave him. When he got his first car, a beat-up '99 Civic, I was the one who showed him how to change the oil. When his high school girlfriend dumped him right before prom, I took him out for burgers and let him vent until midnight. And when he moved into his dorm at CU Boulder, I was the one who hauled his boxes up 3 flights of stairs while our parents argued about parking. Hell, I even co-signed his first apartment lease when he got out of college. I wasn't rich, still ain't, but I wanted him to feel like he had someone in his corner. And he paid it back when I needed it. When my ex-wife blew up our life by sleeping with some coworker and walking out, Evan showed up that night with beer and pizza like he'd been waiting for the signal. No judgment, just sat with me while I fell apart. I was broke, scraping by as a mechanic and picking up DoorDash deliveries to keep the lights on. Evan spotted me rent a couple times, bought groceries, even stayed with Jake when I picked up late shifts. Jake worshipped him. Every Friday night was game night with Uncle Evan. They'd hole up in the living room, controllers in hand, trash talking each other while I grilled burgers. Sundays were comic swaps and backyard BBQs, just the 3 of us. Jake would count down the days until the weekend. I'd never seen the kid smile so wide. Then came Lisa. Evan met her at some charity event. Her dad owns half the dealerships between Denver and Fort Collins. The moment she stepped in, things started to shift. First it was subtle, Evan canceling Friday night game sessions because Lisa had a thing. Then Sundays got skipped for wine tastings or relaxing in Vail. At first I gave him space, figured it was a phase, but it kept going. I remember the first weekend Jake asked, is Uncle Evan coming? And I didn't have an answer, just stood there, flipping burgers alone. A couple months in, Evan stopped dropping by altogether. No more texts, no more calls. Jake still tried, sent memes, game clips, asked about comics. Sometimes he'd get a one-word reply, most times nothing. I wanted to believe it was temporary, that Evan would wake up, remember who we were, but the longer Lisa stayed in the picture, the more he disappeared. Evan didn't just vanish, he traded us in like an old pair of sneakers. 1 minute, we were his people. The next, we were just noise in the background of his new polished life. And Lisa, she was the engine driving that switch. She came from a whole different planet. Her dad owned a string of car dealerships across Colorado, the kind with granite countertops in the lobby and espresso machines in the waiting room. Her mom threw those ladies' luncheons and charity auctions where everyone wore beige and smiled through their teeth. Lisa didn't come into Evan's life, she rebranded it. One day, he was texting Jake about a new Marvel trailer. Next thing I know, he's posting photos from lakefront parties with guys named Trent and Colby. I didn't even recognize the dude. Button-downs, boat shoes, champagne flutes. It was like someone gutted him and left a mannequin behind. Friday game nights turned into quiet weekends in Vail. Barbecue Sundays got replaced by brunches with her parents at some golf club where you probably had to prove your net worth before you could order. Jake kept asking, is he busy again? I never had an answer that didn't feel like a lie. By the time the wedding invite showed up without Jake's name on it, I was already hanging by a thread. Still, I wanted to believe it was an oversight, so I called. It was Lisa who picked up. No, hi, no warmth. Just, this is Lisa. Hey, I said, it's Greg. I got the invite. Looks like Jake's name was left off. There was a pause, and then her voice, smooth, clipped. The guest list is final. I kept my cool. Jake's 16. He's not a little kid. He already bought a suit. I'm sure he's a sweet boy, she said. But this isn't a child-friendly event. It's a private venue, adults only. I swallowed hard. Look, he won't be a problem. He could even help out. Park cars, hand out programs. He just wants to be part of it. She didn't even hesitate. It's not about being helpful. It's about the tone of the event. This isn't a backyard barbecue. That last line stuck with me. I clenched my jaw. So he's not classy enough to sit in a chair and watch his uncle get married. Lisa exhaled like she'd had enough. Greg, I'm going to hand you to Evan. Then I heard his voice cold flat like he was reading off a customer service script. This is about our vision. He said, hope you understand. That was it. No emotion, no apology, not even a damn sorry. Man, I almost laughed. You're seriously okay with this? He paused. We agreed on it together. So that was that. My brother, who once drove across town in a snowstorm just to fix Jake's busted bike, was now a guy who wouldn't even let him sit quietly at his wedding. That night, Jake walked into the kitchen, holding his old Switch controller. Think Uncle Evan wants to play tonight? He asked. I lied, said Evan was busy again. He looked down, tried to act like it didn't sting. Maybe next weekend? I nodded. Yeah, maybe. Jake came into the kitchen a few hours later, holding up a navy blue tie, still had the tag on it. Think this will match my shirt for the wedding? He asked, eyes bright, hopeful. My throat went dry. I looked at him, 16, still baby-faced, but trying so damn hard to be a man. I couldn't fake it anymore. Sit down, bud, I said. He blinked, confused. Why? I pulled out a chair. Just sit. He sat, clutching the tie like it meant something. I leaned forward and told him the truth, that Evan and Lisa didn't want anyone under 18, that the guest list was final, that I'd asked. I tried. At first, he didn't say anything, just stared down at the table. Then he gave this little shrug, real stiff. It's fine, he said. I wasn't really expecting to go anyway, but his voice cracked at the end, and that ruined me. You didn't do anything wrong, I said. He shook his head, lips tight. Maybe Lisa doesn't like me. It's not about you, I said. It's about them being shallow. Jake looked up, eyes glassy. I used my mowing money to buy this, last week. I wanted to surprise you. Thought I'd look sharp for Uncle Evan. That was it. That was the moment I decided. We're not going, I said. His head jerked up. What? No, you can still go. I don't want to ruin it. You're not ruining anything, I said. If they don't want you there, then they don't want me either. He looked unsure. But it's your brother. Exactly, I said. And I won't stand in a room with people who treat my son like a problem to solve. I picked up my phone and called Evan. He answered on the second ring. Hey, I'm not coming, I said. If Jake's not welcome, then I'm out. He paused for a second. Then that same cold tone came through the line. Sorry you feel that way. Like I was canceling a dinner reservation. No anger, no surprise. Just a flat wall. You sure about that? I asked. We already sent final numbers to the caterer, he said. It's locked. That line told me everything I needed to know. I hung up. Jake sat there watching me. Quiet. You okay with that? I asked. He nodded slowly. Yeah, but I could tell it still stung. Number 16-year-old wants to be told they're not good enough to sit in a chair and clap. I stood up, pulled open the fridge, grabbed 2 sodas, tossed one to him. He caught it, wiped at his eyes. You taught me not to let people walk all over me, he said after a second. Guess now I get what that really means. Damn right, I said. You stand up for yourself, or you stand up for someone else when they can't. Jake smiled, small but real. Cool. If I return the tie, he asked. Hell no. I said, you're going to wear it the next time someone actually deserves to have you in the room. Wedding day hit with blue skies and a breeze just strong enough to keep the flags moving. One of those picture-perfect Colorado mornings that practically begged for a celebration. Jake came into the kitchen, hair a little messy, hoodie half-zipped. Didn't say much at first. Just grabbed a bowl of cereal and sat down like it was any other Saturday. Then, mid-chew, he looked up. What's the plan? I smiled. Movie, burgers, and whatever else we want. Our own damn celebration. His eyes lit up, and that was enough for me. We hit the AMC downtown and caught the new Marvel flick. Jake had been waiting on it for months. Big screen, loud as hell, theater barely half full. We crushed popcorn, sour gummies, a couple sodas each. When we walked out, sun still shining. He was grinning like the kid I remembered before all this crap started. Best third act of any Marvel movie, he said, climbing into the truck. Better than Infinity War? He looked at me, dead serious. Way better. We headed straight to Big Dave's for burgers and chili fries. Sat at the counter like regulars, grease and ketchup everywhere. Mid-burger, my phone buzzed. Evan's asking for you. Where are you? Then another. You're really not coming? Then are you sure? I didn't answer any of them. Halfway through the fries, my mom called. I let it ring, then picked up. Greg, are you serious right now? She said, he's your brother. Why are you doing this? I wiped my hands with a napkin and walked outside because my son's not furniture. Ma, what does that mean? It means you don't exclude a kid from the biggest day of your life and expect me to show up smiling. She sighed hard. Lisa's family. I don't give a damn about Lisa's family. I snapped. They don't get to rewrite who matters. There was a pause. I raised both of you, she said, voice quieter. I hate seeing this. Then maybe you should have told Evan that before he sold out for a fancy tent and some cocktail shrimp. I hung up before she could lecture me. Stood there for a minute, phone still in my hand, watching some kid across the street chase a soccer ball. I went back in, slid into the booth. Everything good? Jake asked. Perfect, I said. You ready for round 2? He left. Milkshakes? Damn right. We didn't talk about the wedding again. Not once. We just kept moving. Milkshakes? Arcade? Back home for some old school Mario Kart and a freezer pizza for dinner. I looked over at him around midnight, socks on the coffee table, controller in hand, and thought, this is what showing up looks like. He didn't say it, but I knew he got it. He felt it. And Evan, he could keep his tucks and speeches and phony smiles. I had my kid, my truck, and a damn good milkshake. The next few days felt like walking into a wall, over and over. My mom called again, first thing Monday morning. I could hear the anger before she even said hello. You embarrassed him in front of Lisa's family, she snapped. They were asking where his brother was during the toast. I didn't flinch. Then maybe he should have thought about his guest list. You could have sucked it up for one day. No, I said flat. That's not how this works. She huffed. You're being stubborn, and he's being spineless. I said then hung up before I said something I couldn't take back. Dad didn't say much, never does. But when I stopped by their place later that week to drop off a spare set of tools, he opened the door, looked me dead in the eye, and said, you should have let it go. Just for one day. That one hit a nerve. Ain't that the problem? I said, everyone keeps letting things go. Then one day, you don't recognize your own damn family. He just shook his head and turned back inside. Cousins started texting, not many, but enough. One wrote, you really bailed on your brother's wedding? Another, that was harsh, man. A couple backed me up. Short messages like, tough call, but I get it. Most didn't say a word. Jake kept it together. He didn't complain, didn't mope, but late one night, I walked past his room and saw him sitting on the edge of his bed, scrolling through his phone. I stopped in the doorway. What are you looking at? I asked. He turned the screen toward me. A picture from a few years back, him and Evan sitting on the tailgate of my truck, both of them holding up barbecue ribs like trophies. I don't get it, Jake said, voice quiet. He used to be my best friend. I stepped inside, sat next to him. He changed, I said. Not your fault. I didn't even do anything. I know, but he didn't cry. Just locked the phone and set it on the dresser like he was done with it. Word got around that Evan and Lisa bought a new place. 5-bedroom, 2-story house in one of those gated communities out in Highlands Ranch. I heard it from my sister. No one told me directly. I wasn't surprised. What had pissed me off was the family cocktail party they hosted a few weeks later. I saw photos on Facebook, caterers, white tents, wine glasses in every hand. We weren't invited. My sister asked Lisa about it and texted me later, said Lisa told her, we didn't think Jake would have much in common with the other guests. That sentence right there burned hotter than anything else. Not we missed you. Not hope he's doing well, just he wouldn't fit in. Like Jake was some misfit toy in the wrong store. I showed him the text, he didn't say a word. Just nodded once and walked out back to shoot hoops. Didn't even take his jacket off. Couple weeks before Christmas, Mom called again. She always calls when she wants something big. Voice extra sweet. Like it'll make a difference. I really want you to come this year. She said, everyone will be there. Evan and Lisa too. I leaned against the counter, staring at the kitchen wall like it had answers. Will Jake be treated with respect? I asked. She hesitated. It was just half a beat too long. That's enough. I said, I don't control everything, Greg. Just come for me, please. I didn't commit. Just said I'd think about it. Later that night, I asked Jake what he wanted. He didn't even look up from his phone. I don't want to miss Grandma and Grandpa. I nodded. All right, but we go together or not at all. If it gets weird, we bounce. Deal. We showed up on Christmas Eve around 5. Jake had even thrown on the damn tie. Said he wanted to make Grandma smile. The moment we walked in, Lisa barely said hello. She smiled tight and fake, then turned straight back to whatever wine conversation she was having with her mother. Evan gave me this look, like he wanted to say something, but he didn't. Just nodded once and walked off. The whole room felt off. Polished, quiet, not a trace of the messy, loud, fun Christmases we grew up with. There were hors d'oeuvres instead of chips and dip, background piano music instead of Grandpa's old rock CDs. Jake looked around and leaned in. We still in this, for now, I said. Let's see how long it lasts. Dinner came, long table, cloth napkins, wine at every seat. Jake didn't get one, and when we sat down, there it was, a separate little folding table in the corner, set for 4. Kids' table, someone said, gesturing. Jake looked at me. I looked at Mom. She wouldn't meet my eyes. He sat, quiet, didn't say a word. I stayed at the main table, every muscle tight, waiting for a reason to leave. Then Lisa's dad stood up, glass in hand. To new traditions and clean slates, he said, smiling wide. Into family, however it evolves. Felt like a punch in the ribs, like we were just leftovers from some old life Evan didn't want to admit to anymore. After dinner, Jake and I pulled Evan aside. We got you something, Jake said. It was a framed photo, camping trip 5 years ago. Me, Evan, Jake by the fire. Smoke in our faces, laughing like idiots, real. Evan took it, glanced down, gave the faintest nod. Thanks, he said. Nothing else. No smile. No, I remember this. Jake and I didn't stay much longer. After Christmas, I stopped chasing peace with people who didn't want it. That winter, I got moving, picked up a busted 03 Tacoma off Craigslist for cheap. Frame was solid, engine needed work, figured it'd be a good project for me and Jake. Something real, something ours. We started spending weekends at the garage, tools in hand, grease everywhere. I taught him how to pull a rotor, patch a radiator, do real work with his hands. Kid picked it up fast. I got him a job at the same detailing shop I started at when I was 17. First real paycheck hit. He showed me the stub like it was a gold medal. He started posting progress pics of the truck, before and after shots, new wheels, undercarriage cleanup. Evan's old friends, guys I hadn't heard from in years, started following him, commenting stuff like, damn, wish my dad did stuff like this with me. Jake didn't say much, but I saw the way he stood a little straighter. Then, Lisa's family hit the news. Their big annual charity gala, the one with the red carpet and champagne fountains, got caught up in a tax scandal. Fake donation receipts, shell nonprofits, the whole mess. IRS launched an investigation. Local news ran the headline. High society, low ethics. I didn't even have to say anything. My uncle, Mom's brother, never liked Lisa, sent me the article with one line, your instincts were dead on. A month later, I was home changing brake pads on the driveway when a silver SUV pulled up. Evan stepped out. No Lisa, just him. He looked smaller than I remembered. Pale, tired. Hey, he said. I stood up, wiped my hands on a rag. Didn't think I'd see you here. He looked down, then back up. I miss my nephew. I didn't say anything. Just walked to the porch and held the door open. He followed. Inside, we sat at the kitchen table. Same spot where I told Jake about the wedding. Evan kept looking around like the place felt foreign now. Heard about Lisa's folks, I said. Yeah, he rubbed his face. It's a mess. I let the silence hang. He cracked first. I let her change me, he said. I didn't even fight back. His voice broke. He looked up, eyes red. I don't know how I got here, man. I didn't soften. You chose it, every step. He nodded, I know. Then he cried. Not loud, not dramatic, just quiet. Worn out, crying like someone who'd finally run out of excuses. I hurt Jake, he said. I know I did. I stayed quiet. Let him sit with it. After a while, I said, if you mean any of this, you know where to start. He looked up. Can I see him? You want to see Jake? Then show up. Not once. Not for show. Show up and stay. Evan didn't argue. He just nodded. And for the first time in years, it felt like maybe he actually heard me. I waited until Evan had calmed down, then poured us both a drink and told him everything. No filters, no sugarcoating. Jake cried the night of your wedding, I said. Sat in this kitchen holding the damn tie he bought. Said he felt like trash. Evan flinched. His hands curled into fists on the table. I'm sorry, he said. God, Greg. I didn't think. His voice cracked. I didn't know it hit him that hard. You didn't care enough to find out, I said. He didn't argue. Tears started coming down again. Different this time. Not about him, about what he'd done. I want to fix things, he said. Then show up, I told him. Not with words, not for a weekend. You show up and stay, you rebuild it piece by piece, you earn him back. He nodded, didn't ask for shortcuts. The next Saturday, Evan showed up at our place early. Jake was already out front. Fishing rods leaned against the porch. I didn't say a word. Just watched from the window as they packed up and drove off. Came back late afternoon, both sunburnt and smelling like lake water. Jake walked in holding a brown paper bag. Uncle Evan said burgers on him. I raised an eyebrow, that's so? Jake grinned. He even let me pick the radio station. We ate on the porch, the three of us. No tension, no awkward silences. After dinner, Jake leaned back in his chair and said, it felt like old times. I didn't respond. Just let the moment sit there. Evan's been coming around since not every day. Not perfect, but he shows up, calls Jake, picks him up after work. Sometimes came by the garage and helped finish the tailgate on the Tacoma. Barely knew what he was doing, but didn't quit. It's a start me. I've learned a lot through all this. That family isn't about blood or names or holiday invites. It's about who stands next to you when it's uncomfortable, when it costs something, when there's no audience. Being a man, sometimes it means standing alone, so your kid knows exactly where you stand, and sometimes, just sometimes, the ones who hurt you come back different. Humbled, willing to fix what they broke. Evan might be one of those people. We'll see.